Good morning and welcome to the 2020 Veterans Day ceremony at Eastern Connecticut State University. My name is Chris Ambrosio. I'm the Director of Student Conduct and have been asked to assist in the operations of our Veterans Center on campus. As the grandson of two World War II veterans and son of a Vietnam veteran, I am honored to be a part of this ceremony today. And now, a rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner by Eastern Connecticut State University Chamber Singers, led by Dr. David Bellis. Thank you, Dr. Bellis, for that lovely rendition. And now, I'd like to welcome Father Larry Lapointe for a reflection.
Thank you, Chris. It's an honor to be here with you, even virtually, today in remembrance of all of those veterans, both living and deceased, who have served so valiantly their country, the cause of liberty, democracy, and our defense as well. We seldom remember adequately the sacrifices that they have made, many of them continuing to carry wounds that they sustained in combat or in some other fashion. We remember them. We cherish them. We remember them in prayer, and it would be unfair, really, to use words for prayer at this time, since we represent so many different religious traditions and philosophical perspectives. For that reason, perhaps, although we are separated by technology and circumstance, we might strive to become one in a spirit of gratitude for those sacrifices that have been made for each of us and for all of us. Let us then enter into that spirit of gratitude in a moment of silence. Amen.
Now, I would like to introduce the President of Eastern Connecticut State University, Dr. Elsa Nunez.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning. Thank you for joining us in today's virtual Veterans Day event. In normal times, the Student Center atrium would be full of students, faculty, and staff, as well as members of our community who are veterans and active military personnel. Even though we are not together today in the same room, I know all of us share our gratitude for the brave and dedicated men and women who have served and continue to serve our great nation. Today's program is a result of the combined efforts of many people. And I want to take a moment to thank all of them for making this ceremony possible. Dr. David Bellis and the Eastern Chamber Singers, Father Larry LaPointe, Chris Ambrosio, Director of the Office of Student Conduct, and our Media Services team. I especially want to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Mel Graf, a retired colonel in the United States Army Reserves. Mel is Assistant Dean of Student Development at Johnson & Wales University. Mel Graf is a familiar face on our campus, having served for a number of years as our Assistant Director of Athletics. Thank you, Mel, for taking time from your busy schedule to join us. We have hundreds of students, faculty, and staff at Eastern who are veterans or active in the military. We are the land of the free, only because we are the home of these very, very brave Americans. How can we thank them enough? Wherever you are, please let them know that we are thinking of them. We are not at war today, but the scars of prior wars do not disappear. Thousands of people who served in the Vietnam War are still alive today. The conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan are over, but more than 7,000 Americans lost their lives and more than 50,000 service personnel were wounded in those battles. They still need our support and gratitude years after those wars are over. Today and every day, please find ways, tangible ways, that you can let our servicemen and women know how much you respect and appreciate their sacrifices for each of us. 328 million Americans are protected by 1.3 million men and women who safeguard our freedoms, defend our nation, and keep us from harm's way. When Veterans Day was created by President Woodrow Wilson in 1919, it was called Armistice Day, a day when President Wilson said we should take pride in our heroes and show gratitude for their victory in World War I. Even though we're not at war today, we still owe our veterans and active servicemen and women a great debt of gratitude. We can show that appreciation, as President Barack Obama noted several years ago, by treating them with respect and by supporting them in the same way they serve all of us every day of the year. Ours is a great nation, not because of our military power, but because of the values that our soldiers have sacrificed so much to defend. So again, let us honor them today. Let us hold up the values and freedoms they protect, the very foundations of our great democracy. As we do so, let us work together for a more just, equitable, and peaceful world for generations to come. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Mel Graf, retired colonel who served 30 years in the United States Army, including deployments to Kosovo and Iraq.
Oh, say, can you see? I do see. I see all that is in front of me, the life I live, and know that I have so much to be grateful for. All because of a veteran who came before me, who put their life on the line for something so much bigger than themselves, for country, for you, for me. Less than 1% of all Americans serve in the armed forces. Less than 1% carry the burden of the other 99.3%. And we, the people, thank you. More than 230 years after our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, can we even say that we have formed a more perfect union, established justice, ensured domestic tranquility? Are those things even true in America today? At times I'm not sure. But one thing I can say unequivocally is that over and over and over again, since the Revolution, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, and the War on Terror, American servicemen and women have lived up to the ideals in the Constitution and have provided for the common defense of this great nation. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. More than 3,000 soldiers laid down their lives at Gettysburg, and it was now up to the living to ensure that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. Only those who have been to war know the real meaning of peace. They leave the comfort of their homes, their loved ones, all the conveniences and privileges of living in a first world country. iPods, AirPods, iPads, iPhones, iTunes, to live in the dirt, where it's 120 degrees by day, with no air conditioning, because they don't even live under cover. They live in a fart sack, or under a whoopee, in the sand. And sandstorms hurt. They'll bury you in minutes. The nights are cold, even when it's 60 degrees. If you've never experienced a 60-degree drop in temperature from daytime to nighttime, it feels literally like you are freezing to death. And I lay there shivering, eyes wide open, and I don't even know if I'm cold or if I'm terrified. Dogs howling, wild dogs howling, bats, mosquitoes, sand fleas, and I can't sleep. Never enough sleep. I haven't showered in 2 months, but neither has anyone else. So in some twisted way, that brings us even closer together. There is no bathroom. You wait your turn to go behind a berm, a giant pile of dirt to do your duty, and it's so gross and so uncivilized, yet in some twisted way, it brings us even closer together. The camaraderie you experience in the military is like one civilians will never know. You come to love your brothers and sisters like your life depends on it, because it does. And kids, literally young kids in their teens, die. They lay down their lives for their country, for you, for me, and I wonder, have they ever even loved or been loved by anyone other than their mama? So young, faces like babies, taking on such huge responsibility. Captain Joyce died by electrocution. Private Krause in a vehicle accident, turned over in the Tigris River and drowned. Why? Not even at the hands of the enemy. Why? America, America, God shed his grace on thee. And civilians, they die too. Civilians in enemy territory aren't really our enemy. It's so hard to even tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys, and that's haunting. Forever haunting. So many lives lost, servicemen and women, civilians, families left broken and destroyed, from sea to shining sea. I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained and proficient, semper paratus, semper fidelis, aiming high, forged by the sea, being all that I can be. But the roadside bombs, the IEDs, the mortars that come in at night, do they ever stop? The rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air. We are fighting for them, for their independence, not even our own, for emancipation from centuries of tyrannical rule by a murdering dictator who slaughtered his own people. Don't they know that? We are building their schools and roads and governments. Why do they hate us? We will encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. All gave some gave all. Michael Murphy, Danny Dietz, Matthew Axelson, Eric Christensen. A hero dies twice if his name is never spoken again. We will always be the keepers of our brothers and sisters. We will leave no man or woman behind, but will you? We say we will never forget, but is that true? Do you really never forget? Life goes on, and you climb the corporate ladder and shatter the glass ceiling and ride the wave of success into the golden sunset. You can hate the war, but please don't hate the warrior. Over 30,000 veterans are homeless. More than 20% of U.S. veterans suffer from PTSD. 17 U.S. veterans die by suicide every day. Do not give in to the war within. Being a veteran is not a political status. It's not an affiliation with one party over another. Veterans are patriots. It's just that simple. They simply put love of country before love of self. And what will you do to help them? For I too have a dream that everything I fought for was not in vain, that most people truly are good. So stand up, America. Stand up for equality. We need to start a revolution of kindness and civility and respect for our fellow Americans, to get back to our roots and the democratic principles on which this country was founded. His truth is marching on. Veterans defend our freedom, die for our freedom, and most of them would do it over again and again and again. I don't want to die for you, but if dying's asked of me, I'll bear that cross with honor, because freedom don't come free. I am an American soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Coast Guardsman. What will you do to honor and thank the veterans who have sacrificed so much for you? What will you give back to your country and your community? Captain Nathan Hale said, "I only regret, but I have one life to give for my country." What will you give for yours? We are the land of the free because of the brave. Thank you for honoring veterans today and every day.
Thank you, Dr. Graf. As President Dwight D. Eisenhower described when he issued the first Veterans Day proclamation, this is a day for all veterans, veterans organizations, and the entire citizenry to join hands in a common purpose. While we are not able to do so in the Student Center as we always do every year, I would like to thank you all for joining this virtual event today. Let this be the pause in our day as we take time to reflect on the sacrifices of all those who have served in uniform. Thank you.